subscribe with your legs media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up. Hello and welcome. You know who I am. If you don't know who I am, my name is Innes Luby. Welcome to Say It With Your Legs Media. And this is our cycling talk on a Friday. And we're just going to run through a bunch of things that's been happening inside of the cycling world. Some stuff you may know about, some stuff you may not. So I just picked some random stuff just to talk about. And we're going to go over and review and have a little discussion about. Also, there is a young man who, well, he's not a young man. He's probably about my age. He's a mechanic. And he did a video. And the video was on the 10 things that, the 10 reasons or the 10 top things, the reasons why mechanics are grumpy. What was it? Let me get the correct title of the video. I thought it was pretty epic. So I'm gonna have to go to my history. Am I on the right channel? And I want to pause that for a second. So let me see if I'm on the right channel. And where we at? You. Is it? Okay. And the title of his video is Why are bicycle mechanics such assholes? The top 10 reasons. So we're going to go over that. We're going to do a review of that. We're not going to do that today. May do that tomorrow over the weekend. But I just thought that was pretty cool. I had a conversation with my guy, Fauzi, who owns a shop that's near me. I hang out with him a lot and we talk a lot. And it is pretty frustrating to try and service a community of people who, quite frankly, really don't appreciate what you do. Just imagine someone comes in with a bike that they spent 15. There are people that spend 10 to 15K on bikes nowadays. And just imagine that person comes into your shop. Yeah, that's what it is. They come into your shop. They spent 10, 15K on their bike. They got all the latest Rafa, whatever type of gear you want to talk about. And then when they come into the shop and they have a problem, and the problem usually stems from because they haven't been really maintaining the bike or keeping the bike like as they should. And in that time, the bike has something's happened that if they had actually just like did preventive maintenance, then they wouldn't have any issues. But they have issues because they're just like, I heard a little noise, but it's just a little noise. It's no big deal. Now it's a big noise. And how come you can't fix it? Okay, yo, you know what? I can fix it. I actually can fix it. But it's probably going to cost you, I don't know, because the part that you got to get to fix the part that you rode to death that you should have brought in, that I probably could have repaired it had you brought it in when you heard the noise, but now I can't repair it. Now I have to replace it. So that part is pretty exclusive, and it's not exclusive, but it's expensive because it's an integral part to, you know, whatever's going on in your bike. So that costs so much money. So yeah, you're going to have to drop, I don't know, maybe $200-$350, you know, to fix the bike, buy the part, sort it out, pay me my labor, and make sure we good. What? All of that? You can't do it for any lower? You can't do it for a better price than that? No, I can't. So that there's like, so you pay 10K for a bike. And I know a lot of guys out there actually taking a loan out, or guys and girls actually taking out loans, using credit cards to buy these bikes, these expensive things. And then they come into the shop with a major problem to the guy that's been doing this stuff for the last 20 to 30 years. And he says it costs this much, and then you're trying to haggle him down. And the thing is, when he fixes it for you, you're not coming back because he's going to fix it for you, right? But then you got to understand and realize that when you do this to a mechanic and you don't get his you don't get him to really, you know, go to town for you. And a lot of the times when people actually do spend that type of money, as a mechanic, you're like, oh man, this is a lot of money he's dropping. And then you usually have a look at the rest of the bike. Oh man, this brake is loose, or this cable. So you sometimes you just like, you know, fix something else because you just see it. and it's just like, okay, as a courtesy. But when you come in fighting about cost and all that stuff, you don't get all those extras. You know, the bike may be a little dirty. It's not part of the service. We clean the bike for you. You know what I'm saying? You know, just stuff that you should be paying extra for. You usually get. Like, so I had a guy come in, and the bar tape was a little bit, you know, loose and unraveling and stuff. So you know what? Takes me like 2 minutes. Rewrap it. He sees the did you put new tape on it? Nah, man, just you know, cinched it up a little bit, made the tape go good. So yeah, that's what's up. So that's, you know, so we gotta review this video. And it's called, what is it called? Why are bicycle mechanics such assholes? Yeah, that's cool. So let's get into this week's Cycle Talk. My name is Ines Luby. This is Say Legs, Say It With Your Legs Media. And do me a favor, if you're coming in, hit the like button, subscribe. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, because we got some amazing things coming and happening for end of 2024. So let's get on with it. So first things first, Tom Pidcock. So Tom Pidcock, he's targeted the Olympics for 2024, which is going to be in Paris. And the funny thing, because it's in Paris, which is only a train ride away or a short flight, but it's probably easier just to get the train. It's a good possibility, or highly likely, that I can possibly even just be able to go to the mountain bike race, to watch the mountain bike race and the road race and the time trial. But the track events is going to be something different, because the track events are indoors, so you got to pay for those, and those tickets are probably sold out already. I won't be surprised. You know, the Olympics is a big thing, so I just try to get to stuff that I can. So the mountain bike race, I can probably get to the mountain bike race, and you know, just post up, get a few pictures, maybe even get talk to a couple of riders, insignificant riders and stuff, and get their view on what the day was like. You know, there's going to be a few Caribbean countries there, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to have access to one or two riders and just get their viewpoint and what's going on. But Tom Pidcock, he's targeting the Olympic mountain bike race, and he's going for gold again. And the interesting thing about Mr. Pidcock is that he's going to be doing the Tour de France as well, as it says in the headlines. And if you, 1 second, I need to just sort this out. I want to keep this bad boy going. There we go. So what's cool, what's interesting about Pidcock is that he's going to be doing the mountain bike race. And it's a good chance that he's going to be in some stellar form, because he's going to be just coming off the Tour de France, and the Olympics is 1 week after the Tour de France. So some people are thinking he might be like, a bit worse for wear, because he's going to be just finishing a 3-week race. And then on top of that, if they don't find a GC person for Ineos, he's going to be leaned on heavily to bring back a result in the GC. So in a sense, it allows him to, I don't know, it's weird, because if you're riding for stages and just freestyling throughout the tour, that means there's one day you're riding hard, one day you're finishing and riding really easy. And then the other thing is to say, if you're riding for GC, that means the rest of the team is carrying you, so that you can save yourself for the hardest moments of each day or each stage, so that you can possibly have a good chance of finishing high on the podium, if not going for the win. So I think it's a give and take between whether he could how fresh the legs is going to be, which is going to be the easiest ride, whether he's just going for stages or whether he's riding for GC for Ineos. So it's yet to be determined to see if Ineos recruits any other riders. They missed out on our Primoz. I thought they was going to get Primoz Roglic. That would have been a good look for Ineos, and that would have been a lot less pressure off of our Pidcock. But then that might have meant he would have to do a lot more work leading up to the Olympics. So I think personally, when it comes to the Olympics, he's going to be on some amazing form. Like just 1 week off, his body's still going to be like, the cylinders are still going to be somewhat firing. There's still going to be some fire in the belly. Depends on how if it's really extremely hot and he's exhausted and all that type of stuff. But I personally think that Pidcock's going to be the man to look at for the Olympics. He's just going to be on some amazing form, and I think it's a good chance that he'll be able to go and get that medal back for. Okay, there we go. Oh, so all this whole time I didn't have my graphics going. I just realized my graphics weren't going. Now my graphics are going. So that looks cool, don't it? But yeah, so I think Pidcock, he's going to be. I put my money on him to do really well for the Olympics and possibly getting that gold again. And I just keep my fingers crossed that we can be over there to check him out for the Olympics. So there we go. We're gonna get on to our next story. What is our next story for today? The Rock Explore with Confidence. So I saw this. This is pretty cool. This is a new. It's not new. The company's not new, but it's called Twonav, and they do this computer. It says Twonav unveils a rock bike computer as the smallest GPS with the most advanced mapping on the market. And I think what makes it stand out is the fact that it allows you to map like areas like you see in the picture the guy on the mountain bike. These areas tend not to be so user friendly for like the regular Wahoos and Garmins and stuff. But the mapping on this stuff is insane. So hikers, mountain bikers, gravel riders, and it's even for road, it's just awesome thing. And the cool thing about it is it has a typographical map on it, so you can see like the flat range, and you get the typographical lines and stuff around, and you can just see the hills and stuff just like looking down at the map, and you can see it. And it also, like when you're riding, it'll put the actual profile in front of you and show you where you are on the climb and whatnot. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty strong. It does a lot. So this is Twonav, and how you doing there, Eurosport, with the notifications? So I gotta figure out how to turn the notifications up for when I'm doing this, because it seems like to do that a lot. But Twonav unveils a rock bike computer as the smallest GPS with the most advanced mapping on the market. Let's get into story number 3. We're not gonna be here long today. The big bike helmet debate. Readers reject the change in law. Now, I had a whole thing about what the readers were saying. Let's pull it up. We got it, so we might as well pull it up. We've done a lot of research and stuff, so we have the info. We might as well give it to you, huh? So I gotta open up the iPad, and there we go. And boom, boom, boom. Notes, and here we go. That's not what you're looking for. That's what. Where are we? It probably didn't update. I might have to go to my phone. Subject partnership. No, it's not updated yet. Okay, to the Batmobile it is. So the only thing about the iPhone, the rating is small, but that's not. We could sort through that. That ain't no big deal. Let's go, as Angry Man would say. So it's called Cycle Talk this week. So we did Tom Pidcock already. We are on No Helmet Harry. That's what I titled it in my my notes. So the whole thing, it says, so it would be fair to say that in this latest reader survey, on whether cycle helmets should become compulsory elicited a strong response. And that's the crazy thing. No matter where or when you're talking about, you always get a strong response to whether a helmet should be worn. And I feel like people just go to the extremes talking about helmets. I'm like, give me a break, man. If you want to wear a helmet, wear a helmet. I like wearing helmets because they match my kits and stuff. They look really cool, so I like wearing a helmet, so if it is, it is. And in the picture, one picture I'm not wearing a helmet, and the other picture I am. And the picture that I'm not wearing a helmet is because I took the train into central London, and I literally didn't want to walk 3 blocks, so I took my bike with me on the train, and it was like 4 or 5 blocks to the bike store that I was going to. So I was like, pretty much I was just cruising on the sidewalk and not riding in traffic, and just enjoying outing on a day in London. And then the picture to the right, I'm at Regent's Park. The boys are doing their thing. They're riding hard and going considerably faster than I am in the picture to the left. And I'm riding amongst the cars in the traffic. So they're, self-preservation, safety first. So, and then even then, like, the way that I ride is very defensive. It's like I make sure I'm watching out for traffic around me, people around me, and keeping my eye on what's going on, in and around and about me, instead of like just focusing on how fast I could go. So there's a lot of stuff going. So let's see what it says. It said it's received. Why is pushing for a change in the law mandate for the use of cycle helmets? It received a staggering 1,102 votes, as well as causing strong debate on social media. The results of the survey are pretty overwhelming. Some 85% of respondents rejected the idea of the mandatory cycle. Wow, 85% of people rejected the idea of a mandatory cycle helmets, with 14% in favor. Just 1% were not sure. Those in favor of the move say cycle helmets reduce the risk of head injury in event of a collision. There is evidence to support this. Let me read that again. It was received a staggering 1,100 votes, as well as causing a strong debate on social media. The results of the survey are pretty overwhelming. Some 85 respondents rejected the idea of mandatory. So 85 people objected to mandatory helmets. That's interesting. I didn't think it would be that high. It says University College in Dublin study published in 2015 showed cycle helmets offer effective protection at low speeds of less than 50 or 31 miles per hour. It is also concluded cycle helmets offer protection against secondary impact against the ground after an initial collision. However, the same study found that helmets become less protective the faster the cars are traveling, concluding they are of minimal use in crashes with cars traveling more than 50 at 31 miles per hour. That's 31 miles per hour. And the evidence is not conclusive. Some studies suggest that helmets can contribute towards greater injury in the event of a collision. Meanwhile, the Dutch study found that 13.3% of the cyclists hospitalized in the Netherlands were wearing helmets, despite it being estimated that less than 1% of the country's cyclists wear helmets. That's crazy. That's a cycling crazy country. So you can imagine if less than 1% of people are actually wearing helmets. That's crazy. And only 13.3% of cyclists are hospitalized in the Netherlands. Wow. But anyway, but when it comes to whether cycle helmets should be mandatory or not, those who oppose the move say the most important factor is the impact of the number of people cycling. This is because of safety numbers. The fact that the idea that the more people that are cycling, the lower the risk. Good point. Evidence from Australia and New Zealand, where helmets are mandatory, suggests that large number of people are deterred from cycling by helmet legislation. There we go. In the years following the introduction of the legislation for compulsory helmets in New South Wales, Australia, there was a 36% reduction in cycling levels. Meanwhile, it is estimated that a total of 136,000 adults and children in New Zealand, nearly 4% of the total population, stopped cycling immediately after the introduction of the cycle helmet legislation in 1994. Look at it from the other end of the stick. Countries with the highest levels of cycling, such as Denmark and Netherlands, record the lowest levels of helmet use in the world. Instead, these countries are heralded for delivering well-connected and high-quality dedicated infrastructure, public awareness, and understanding of cycling, and a culture where most people cycle regularly. As the charity Sustenance puts it, we know cycling has many health and social environmental benefits. If we are to make the most of these benefits, we need to increase and therefore normalize cycling. This means putting solutions that are based on evidence with experience of most cycling friendly countries and cities into practice. So with that being said, you got a place like LA where I lived for 4 years and I lived in New York and stuff as well, and rode my bike to work there as well. And I don't know. I think the main reason a lot of people wear helmets is because the helmets now, the designs, the colors, the styles are just like the out of this world, and just people just love them. So people are gonna keep wearing them. They're gonna wear them just for that fact, because they could be out there styling in them. So, and that's the reason that they're wearing them. But while I was in LA, I just found LA is a dangerous place anyway. LA is a very dangerous place for just the bugs, just the insects, the wildlife, and let alone like someone who's riding a bike. And LA has some of the pretty wide bike lanes and stuff, but people still have issues and problems with drivers. And for one, I know that I had a couple. I even recorded one, and I refused to watch it again because of the energy that I was displaying. Like, I didn't think I even watched it back, because I know exactly what was going on when I in that moment, and it was not a good moment, and I don't really want to relive that. But yeah, so it's hard to to go back and look at that. I'm not going to go back and look at that, because it was a very a dangerous moment. I was with a very new novice rider, and then to have a driver do what they were doing was not cool. So that's not really America's not a place you really want to get in an argument with somebody, because then people carry all types of things in their cars and stuff. But luckily was able to ride away from it, and it's like I said, it's a moment that I'm not going to try and relive, but I remember it. And so you have things and situations like that, but then you go to a place like Arizona, which has some amazing infrastructure. Like, you can literally do 100 miles on, like they say, it's like on the bike trails which are along the canals and stuff, and you have no worries of running into any vehicles, so you should be quite safe. And I can't understand and see why what would be the big deal about wearing a helmet, like on if you got infrastructure like that, like the Netherlands has and stuff. That's the reason why so many people ride bikes in the Netherlands, and so few people have any issues. But anyway, that's the big bike debate. And the crazy thing was, like I said, out of 1,100 people surveyed, 85% of the respondents rejected the idea of the mandatory cycle helmet. It is what it is, and I think you're gonna find similar numbers no matter where you go. I mean, it is what it is. So let's get on to the next story, and we are gonna get rid of this. Here we go. And it's The EU Court of Justice rules that e-bikes are bicycles, not motorcycles. And what we need for this? We need a come. So the reason why I'm giving that response is because it's crazy, because most of the people who are opposing or saying or making pushing to say that e-bikes should, you should have to get a license plate and whatnot. Is most of these people don't like bikes or any other thing on the road anyway. So this is just so if you make this happen and the legislation passes where they have to, then the same thing that happened in New Zealand with the drop of people riding bikes because they had to wear helmets, the same thing will happen if cycling. And so motorists will get their way, motorists will have the roads to themselves, and you will get less and less people on bikes, fewer people actually cycling. That will trickle over into the the industry, people trying to sell bikes, sell cycling gear and stuff. So it will have a knock-on effect, and quite a bit of money is spent in that industry. It definitely helps prop up the financial infrastructure inside of in most countries. Bikes are really popular. A lot of bikes sell, a lot of cycling gear sells. And so what's the thing? It says the European Union Court of Justice has ruled that e-bikes are bicycles, not motor vehicles, because they are not propelled exclusively by mechanical power. This ruling, which settles the debate that has been ongoing since e-bikes started appearing on our streets, means that electric bikes do not need to be insured, unlike a car or a motorbike. It also means that people riding e-bikes are classed as vulnerable road users, just like pedestrians or people riding normal bicycles, which makes sense. I've seen some of the scooters, the motorized scooters. They, it's in the US, there was a guy filmed on one of the main freeways, like highways, byways, or they call motorways in the UK, doing 60 plus miles per hour on one of the scooters. It's got the fat tires on it. It's got, the battery power on the thing. It was just it's sick. So these are still electric, but the power behind them is just crazy. But these guys that tend to ride these bikes tend to be pretty well suited up with the elbow pads and knee pads and stuff. They tend to dress like guys on motorbikes. So the guys who tend to ride the scooters and anything that tends to that has a bit of speed to them, they usually dress appropriate, because they know that if the speed that they can go, they dress appropriately so as to protect themselves. So so EU Court of Justice rules that e-bikes are bicycles and not motorbikes. Yeah, sort of makes sense. And I'm not paying attention to my graphics. I gotta pay attention to my graphics because I worked hard on it. I'm not even using them. But anyway, so we're gonna get on to the next story. And the next story is Wiggle. We're gonna talk about Wiggle, the bike store. So I don't know a lot about what's going on with Wiggle, but I'm gonna just touch on it a little bit. So it says the blow for wiggleCRC parent company amid losses of 150 million in funding. And it was interesting the comments. So I'm not even gonna really get into the story itself, because I actually need to do a deep dive into, how, what I want to have a look at is how it's going to affect the whole cycle industry, basically. So that's to look at it. And the thing is, what people are saying is, they can understand why there is such a massive loss. So you got, you go to China or wherever, you spend a lot of money, and the more stuff you buy, the cheaper you could get it for. So that's they have the buying power to do that. So whereas I can get 2 pairs of shoes for 50. Well, if I'm Wiggle, I might go in and buy 500 pairs of shoes I'm probably gonna get them for a tenner each, maybe even a $5 each. Because at the end of the day, the people selling the shoes, they still, make that money. And, they look at the size of what they're getting. Like the check is going to still be big. So if you say 500 times 50 is what? Like it's 5,000, or is it 5? It's more than 5,000. Let's do quick math. 500 times 5 equals. Oh, that's only 20. That's still 2,500. So probably wouldn't be that low. So if we do 500 times like 10 equals. Nope, that's wrong. The plus. So it's just 5,000. So like if you get what I'm saying. So whoever's selling, they covering the cost, and we know that people who manufacture stuff, most stuff is just to make one product is usually pennies on the dollar what it costs them to make. So if they know they're gonna get a big check of whatnot, so they'll usually sell. So you get a company like Wiggle, they go in, they buy up tons of product, and then they're selling it back at basically, I can go into Wiggle now. The reason a lot of people like buying from Wiggle is because what you can get it for. And the comments were like, people in the comments is, firstly, you're selling everything at rock bottom prices, so you aren't really making a profit of anything. And then on top of that, you're offering free shipping for just about everything. And it's sort of like, begs, how do you expect to survive in a climate like this where, there is no profit, and then you're mailing out the shipping to everybody for free? So at some point, something's got to give. So we're going to take a deep dive into Wiggle, the CRC parent company, amid the loss of 150 million funding. But that seems like to be the main reason why things are going, for lack of better words, tits up. Is because firstly, you're giving away the product for next to nothing. And then secondly, you're losing tons of money on shipping. So that's crazy to me. Even if I had that type of money, I wouldn't be like trying to ship everything to everybody for free. That's crazy. That is crazy. So let's get on to what's our next topic of the day. Oh, nope. We are topic. There we go. This is messed up. So this is a messed up story. So this is a guy. His name is Gordy Stewart. He's just finished cycling around the world. Crazy epic adventure around the world. And he gets back to the UK or London, somewhere here in the UK, where he started his trip. And he's just chilling at the pub with the boys and his friends and everything. And he gets his bike stolen outside the pub, which is crazy. You ride 22,500 miles around the world in 430 days. So that took him just over a year, maybe a year and a quarter. And then he has his bike stolen after all of that. So, I mean, if that was my bike, I definitely would want to get it back, because that's like, you can't relive that. You can't replace that. It's just like, that's crazy. So I feel for Gordy, and I hope he gets his bike back. He says he went for a drink for a couple of friends who I was in the army with, and it was just catching up, and I came out and the bike was not there. Like, as he said, he brought the dog's bicycle named Dorothy due to him being on its own adventure towards Oz. That's great. That's pretty cool. So he named it Dorothy, because he's on his way to Oz at that time, on eBay for a few £100 before his around the world ride in 2018. And given considerable mileage put on it since, the thief is unlikely to get much for Stewart's bike. The 34-year-old appealing for the return. The 34-year-old is appealing for its return due to its sentimental value. 5 years ago, Stewart set out from the UK, riding through Europe, Central Asia, South East Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States before returning to Europe and London in 2019, 430 days later. However, on Tuesday evening, it was still outside Anglers Arms pub in Hammersmith. The thief cutting through the lock and making off with the bike seconds later. So, okay, so it sounds like he did the trip quite some time ago. He still has the bike. He rides it every day, and he was just at the pub. So, yeah. So I'm thinking he just got back and they took the bike. So, but nah. So it looks like he had an epic journey. I hope he gets his bike back. And his name is Gordy Stewart. Have a look up for his bike. There it is. He's in the video. So I do hope Gordy gets his bike back. So I now on to the last. Where are we at? 36 minutes and to the last story of the day. She said she tried an e-cargo bike, but traffic drove me off the road. That's so weird. I have a mixed reactions about this because it's something I've been looking into. I want to get a e-bike, an e-cargo bike as well. And the main reason is because, like, one, to do grocery shopping, and the other is like when I to go get my stuff, like when I go to the hardware store, if I need to get timber or tools or carry supplies, because I've been doing a little bit of house maintenance on the side and stuff. So it seems like it will fit me perfect. But her whole point was that it wasn't very nimble in certain places, like here in the UK. She basically got it because obviously her and her husband need to do the school run, and she actually got rid of the e-bikes and got like some hybrid bikes instead. So what she says makes sense though, because I can see the hybrid bikes being a lot more nimble, like on certain off-road situations. And then it's also like she said she was having problems parking the bike because it's heavy, getting it on the stand and stuff. And I don't see as that would have been a problem to myself. If it's something that I want, I usually embrace it and stuff. But she's so I'm just wondering, are there more people out there that have issues with like stuff like this with the cargo bikes? So what's your idea of the cargo bike? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it something that you if you got a chance to use, like if you have kids, would you rather the kids would you rather the kids where are we to? Yeah, so would you rather the kids on the back of your e-bike, on the back of a hybrid, or in the car in traffic, sitting in traffic, looking at an iPad and stuff? So this is much healthy-ish, because you still got to deal with like the vehicle, combustion of the vehicles and stuff, and people driving or whizzing across you and stuff. And she just said it just wasn't like the main reason. It just sounded like it wasn't nimble enough. So, but I would like to hear what you think. Does it make a big deal to you that would you stay on the road? Would you go off road? Because she said she to get away from traffic, she'd ride through like little areas. And I can see excuse me, I can see certain areas where maybe where they have the bike paths or the paths for just walking, and they have the bollards up so that like certain vehicles can't fit through. So then it'd probably be hard to fit like through certain areas. And if I'm correct, like, because I know when I'm if I go riding through the hills, through the country hills, and most of these places have cattle and stuff roaming around, and they have the gates and stuff so that you can pass through them and walk through and whatnot. And so you can pass through the fields because there are paths that people use and whatnot. But the gates that they use to like open and allow stuff in, with a regular bike, it's not that big a deal. Like you could fit the regular bike through that. But I can see with the big long e-bike, that's going to be a problem. So if she was like in an area like that where she was using quite a bit of stuff like that, then yeah, I can see how like it's circumstances. It's definitely circumstances. It's where you're at and how things work for you. So if it's not going to be suitable for where you're riding your bike, you got to make sure you think about it. Make sure it's conducive to what your lifestyle. But for me, I'm just like, man, I'm looking forward to actually getting an e-bike. And I was even thinking the crazy thing that if I had the cargo bike, I could probably use a cargo bike instead of a car to follow the races in Europe next year. But at the same time, I'm thinking no, because when the weather comes and the weather hits, you really, unless you can find somewhere to get out of the weather and stuff, it's gonna be hard to be keep warm and stuff. So I was like, that would be really cool. It would be a good way to advertise and everything. But I don't think I can do the trip across Europe on the cargo bike. Maybe in the summertime. But the weather's been getting so weird here in Europe and stuff. You don't know what type of weather you're gonna get. Like, if it's gonna be really wet, it's gonna be a little bit cool. So it's been getting sort of a bit unpredictable. Excuse me. So anyway, that's about it. That's where we at. We had 45 minutes. That gives me a good bit of stuff to chop up. And I hope you enjoyed that. That's all I got for you today. But like I said, we definitely got to get into this guy. Let me pull up the title again. It says, Top 10 Reasons Bicycle Mechanics Are Such Assholes. Top 10 reasons. I could give you about 100, so we are who we are. We love what we do. We really love what we do. And we love sharing what we do with you. But we do have our limits. We do have our limits. We love you. We love you to death. So anyway, like I said earlier, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you. And I will see you next Friday. You'll probably see me later on the weekend. So let's get into this. And I'm going to leave you with me and my man Bahati as we ride off into the sunset in LA in Southern California. Peace out. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Love you. See you soon. Sever your legs media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.